Alright, got my Batman shirt, got my Wonder Woman glasses, my Aquaman dinglehopper. I'm plugged into the computer like Cyborg. I got a little bit of facial hair though. That's better. Oh, I'm also very fast. Hello, planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations as always. You've made your way to the Buffyngton Post.
You are invited!
Today we'll be taking a break from the Buffyverse because it's time to talk about Justice League, the 2017 motion picture.
Is it difficult or time-consuming?
And there will be spoilers in this video, but before I get into that, I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts, what I thought worked, what didn't work, and then we'll jump into the nitty-gritty of this. It was fine. Like, the movie was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible. I kept telling everybody, I'm going to see Justice League, even though it looks terrible, because from the trailers, the actual look of the movie, it looked terrible. The cinematography, just everything about the way it looked, it didn't look like it was going to be very good at all. But it was better than I thought it would be, which is a good thing. But it wasn't great. There were moments of real fun, like seeing the characters interact and seeing how they kind of like teamed up with their powers and like, did stuff together, and like a team, like classic X-Men type stuff where they combine their useful skills and help each other and do stuff like that was fun. There were definitely like fun, good moments in here. There were a couple of laughs. There were a couple of moments of like, ugh. But overall, it's fine. Like, it's okay, but it doesn't really earn anything, if that makes sense. Like, nothing feels like it's super earned, and I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if it's the mandate to cut like at least half an hour out of this movie. I don't know what it is, but it never really feels organic or natural for the things that are happening to be happening. And like everybody has already told you, I'm sure, that the major problem is the villain, and the fact that, okay, you're a villain and you look like you just walked out of my PS4, but I mean, like, that's kind of to be expected with these superhero movies today. Like, they're not, it's hard to be surprised, and it's hard to be very disappointed in a big CGI villain when that's kind of what we do now. And so, like, all that aside, like, the movie, it's fine, it's serviceable. I think that's the highest praise I could give it, is it's serviceable. It tries to do something, it doesn't quite stick the landing, but it's a movie.
Exactly.
And I know there's this whole, like, thing online where it's like you're a Marvel person or you're a DC person, and that, like, most of us aren't. Like, you have the things you like over here, and you have the things you like over here, and it's okay for everybody to play together. Like, it's totally fine. We can all play together, and things can be enjoyed for what they are. And the fact of the matter is, I really don't care for most of the Marvel movies. Like I didn't see Captain America: Civil War until it was on Netflix, because I'm watching the trailers for Civil War, and I know nobody's gonna die, because Disney doesn't just go around willy-nilly killing people. That's my biggest problem with Disney owning the rights to the Marvel characters, like most of them anyway, is that where are the stakes? Like, who's, like, I don't ever feel like anybody's in real danger. I don't ever feel like anybody's gonna die. And then, like, when Rhodey falls out of the sky, it's like, oh crap, and then he doesn't die. And so like, the Marvel movies, they don't really hold any weight for me. They're just kind of there. And like Thor Ragnarok, I think Thor Ragnarok looks like a good, fun movie, and I really haven't heard many bad things about it. But I didn't want to go and see it because the Marvel formula is such that I watch the trailers, I know how it ends, nobody important dies, I'm sure, like, I don't know, I haven't been spoiled, I haven't watched it, I don't care. Like, that's the problem, I don't care. And even though Man of Steel was just like, he's Jesus, or Moses, or whoever you want to put in here, fine. It was pretty much that. Like, that was 2 hours. And then Batman v Superman had some glaring problems. But and then, you know, when they killed Superman, oh, I guess we're in spoilers now. But like when they killed Superman, it was like the opposite of Marvel. Like where you know that Marvel's never going to kill anybody because it's Disney, like when they killed Superman, it was like, we know he's gonna be back. Like, Superman doesn't die, or at least stay dead. Like, nobody in comics stays dead, if we're gonna be, like, truly honest, but it was like, okay, you did the thing that Marvel won't do, but everybody knows it doesn't carry any weight either, because you can't keep Superman dead. It's a whole thing. And then, like, Suicide Squad, I tried to watch twice, fell asleep both times. Wonder Woman was great, I enjoyed it a lot. And like, that's the thing, like, the Marvel movies, they don't hold any weight for me, and so I don't feel like I need to go and see them. Whereas with Justice League, I really wanted this movie to be good. Like, I care about it, even though I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be good, even though I thought it looked terrible, I really wanted it to blow me away, or at least make me go, okay, that was fine. And in that regard, it works. Like, it's fine, but it's not satisfying, and nothing really feels earned. And so, like, that's the whole thing. It's like Justice League. I would rather go and watch that than watch Thor, in which I know what's gonna happen in Thor for the most part. Like, I get it. But with Justice League, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was intrigued, and like that's the difference between like Marvel and DC for me personally. Like, I don't need to see any of the Marvel movies because they're like point A to point B. It's a movie. Whereas the DC movies have at least been trying to do something fucking interesting, been trying to subvert expectations, and that's why it's more of a moment in movie-going history for me to like go and see Batman v Superman, to go and see Justice League. I did not go and like pay money for Suicide Squad at all. It was just like it just looked like a great big music video, and again, I fell asleep twice. And that's the whole thing. Like, superhero fatigue, I don't think is really a thing. It's just, I don't know. There's something about the kind of movie-going culture that we've got going on right now, and people are like, DC haters or they're Marvel fanboys. I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing. Just give me a picture, make me feel like it's important enough to go and see. The end. Anyway, let's tear this movie apart. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's serviceable. Stuff happens. Big stuff, explosions, and then, like, everybody's happy at the end, pretty much. There we go. So let's spoil the shit out of this and tear this movie apart. I had a bad movie-going experience. I have to admit that, like, my problems with the movie stemmed from my movie-going experience. I came in, the trailers had already begun because I got there, like, right at 7:30 at showtime. Whatever. So the movie begins, or I walk in and the trailers are playing, and all the house lights are still on, and I was like, you know, maybe they're just leaving the house lights on during the trailers because they know that people are going to be trailing in, right? So then the movie begins, and the house lights are all still on, and there's Batman, and he's like talking to this dude, and the parademons are attracted to fear. Like, there's a line. That's a line that we're supposed to remember, and that's supposed to, like, super make sense, but it just kind of comes out of nowhere. But I couldn't really see everything that was going on the screen because all the house lights were still on, and there was this great glare on the right side of the screen. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is weird. And for a moment I thought, did I accidentally go into a showing that was for, like, people with special needs or something like this? Like, I really didn't understand. And then I kind of got the feeling that everybody was wanting to say something about the lights. And there was this moment, like, when the credits started, I was actually about to say, are we just not gonna say anything about the lights in here? But I go to the movies alone because I'm a talker. Like I'll be like, oh, blah 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 to whoever, and people find that annoying apparently. And so I didn't want to be the one to leave the theater to, go and say something about the house lights being on because I didn't want to miss anything. But then I'm thinking, well, with that great big glare on the right side of the screen, I'm missing stuff already. So a couple minutes go by and I see this dude, this like tall, nerdy looking dude, and he's walking out of the theater. I was like, okay, he's gonna go and say something to the movie people. And then a minute goes by, nothing happens. This other like tall dude, he leaves, and I'm like, okay, one of these guys is definitely going to say something about the house lights. So before they get back, sure enough, the house lights go down, and I was like, okay, I can focus on the movie. And so the thing that really bothered me right off the jump during the opening credits, Amy Adams gets higher billing than Gal Gadot. And if Lois Lane's going to be in the movie a lot, that's totally cool, but she's really not. She's really not. And so that kind of threw me off from the get-go. I'm like, why are you putting Lois Lane in higher billing than, that super strong lady who goes like this all the time and is always like, hands up, don't shoot, Because at no point do they ever, in the Wonder Woman movie, or in this movie, refer to Diana as Wonder Woman. So, to everyone in the world of DC, she's that lady with the sword and super strength that jumps real high and is like, hands up, don't shoot. That lady. Because she's never actually called Wonder Woman at all in this entire cinematic universe, which is a real problem for me, because it's like, why are we calling her Wonder Woman when the movies won't even call her Wonder Woman? What the actual is going on here? So like, that's one problem. The fact that that lady with the sword and the shield and the hands up don't shoot is just that. She's just that lady. And we can call her Diana because we know her name, but nobody is allowed to call her Wonder Woman because that's not even a thing. She's not been given that moniker by anyone. So what that lady makes no sense. Okay, so let's talk about the characters. Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne / Batman, like from day one when they announced that he was going to be, the Batman, I thought this is great casting because he makes a really convincing Bruce Wayne. And for the most part, that's what we've got going on here. But I don't know. It just seems like his motivations from movie to movie are kind of whack. Like in Batman v Superman, he's all concerned that Kal-El is just, an awful thing for us. And then here, he's like, we gotta resurrect Superman, man. And it just seems to come out of nowhere. And I realize that there's just like maybe an hour worth of footage on the cutting room floor, and like that's all fine, and that's beside the point. But it doesn't make a shit ton of sense as to, like, it was your idea to kill this guy. And now all of a sudden, he's the one thing that we need to like save the fucking world, so we gotta bring him back to life. It doesn't make a shit ton of sense. Aquaman. Aquaman's like that guy at the party that you don't mind spending like 15 minutes talking to, but you don't really want to spend any more time with him. And honestly, aside from Cyborg, I feel like that's the case with all of the members of the Justice League. I don't want to spend 20 minutes with any of these assholes. Because, like, the Flash, he's supposed to be our comic relief. He's supposed to be, like, the proxy for the audience. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not a 19-year-old weirdo anymore. And so I can't really get on board with the Flash. He was just very, like... and I'm over it. And, they established that he runs so fast that he has to, like, eat. And then they take him into this super-duper situation... And all of a sudden, they have to carry him around because he's run out of fuel. And it's like, he already told you that he has to eat all the time. Why doesn't the Flash carry a freaking fanny pack with like some Nutrigrain bars in it or something? Where's the logic? Why did you bring a guy who burns out really quickly and not bring him fuel? It's like, where's the logic? And then, like, Aquaman, barely know him. There was a really cute scene where he was kind of talking about everybody in the room, and he finally like comes around to Diana, and he's like, oh, blah blah blah, and he starts opening up about his feelings, about how he never really felt at home in any one world, and he's getting like super like in depth about his emotions real quick, and it seems to come out of nowhere. And the joke is that Wonder Woman has kind of like thrown her lasso of truth on him, and it's like, ha ha ha. That's like the most interesting thing that he does. Like, I don't know him. I don't really want to get to know him. He just seems like that guy, whoever he is, that you just don't want to spend time with. I don't want to spend time with him. I don't want to spend time with the Flash, even though he's never actually even called the Flash. He's just Barry. Okay, so that's two of our heroes that don't even have names. That lady and Barry. Okay. And then you've got Bruce Wayne, who, it's just hard to like him. I don't want to sit and talk to him. He's all like, brr, 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 brr. And like, that's kind of supposed to be Batman's thing, but it's not done well enough. It's really not done well enough. It doesn't make any of the sense. And then you've got Superman. Go away. Go away. Nobody wants you here. And the thing about Superman is who is he? My whole problem with Batman v Superman, until the Ultimate Edition, which actually gave you a little bit of Clark Kal-El, Superman's point of view on what the heck's going on. Like, my whole problem with the theatrical cut is, what do you think about what's going on, Superman? Like, what's your motivation? Who the heck are you? Because I don't know. The movie's not telling me anything. And in this one, he just completely becomes a different character. They bring him back to life, and all of a sudden, he remembers stuff, and he's angry, and he's battling all the other Justice League people. And the thing is, whoop-de-doo, 4 minutes later, he's fine. He's totally fine. Lois comes along, and she's like, I'm Lois Lane. And Batman, after Lois and Clark fly off into, Kansas land, Batman's like, oh, I do bleed. I'm pretty sure I'm bleeding somewhere. And it's like, this is not the fucking time for jokes. Crazy killer Superman just flew off with Lois Lane. God knows what he's gonna do with her. Last time I checked, he was fucking crazy. And then they just do this complete 180, and all of a sudden, Clark's fine. Totally fine. Why? There was that awesome moment where the Flash was coming around and Clark was like, I see you. Like, it was so dumb. They made like evil Superman for like 2.5, and then he's back to normal. What? And then with all of his CG stuff, and whenever he would actually smile, he looked like the Joker. That's a thing. It's so lame. And then you've got Wonder Woman, or I'm sorry, that lady. And the problem overall with this movie is kind of centered like with Diana. Diana, throughout the whole movie, she's always coming to characters and she's like, in my movie, I learned that sometimes when you're in war, you lose people you love. And then she's like, in my movie, I separated myself from humanity. And she's always just like, remember in my movie what I learned about this thing that I have to do? Dude, shut up. The thing is, like, I don't know what's at stake for any of these people. I really don't. We don't have any of, like, we don't know where Diana lives. We don't know what her life is like. We know that she works, and then whoop-de-doo, she, like, goes to find Bruce. Okay, sure. But what is your day-to-day life? Who are you? What is Cyborg's day-to-day life? We get more of Cyborg than anyone as far as, like, what's kind of motivating this character, but I feel like there's a lot of Cyborg just left on the cutting room floor. I like the idea that there are these two opposing sides to him, but it's never really fully explored. I like the idea that he has these relationship issues with his father, and they kind of, like, lampshade that, but it doesn't... I don't know enough about any one of these characters. They give us very little of Barry and his motivation. His dad's in prison. I don't know what his day-to-day life is like. I don't know, like, what's really at stake for him. None of these people, aside from Cyborg again, and I guess Clark because he loves Lois, they don't have any kind of relationships that are at stake with, like, Steppenwolf coming in. What's at stake for you? Where are the stakes? It's like suddenly we're in a Marvel movie again where there are no stakes, nobody's gonna die. Like, why? And again, I know that they were limited to like a 2-hour runtime, whatever. But you still have to make me care about this person. The reason that I love freaking Buffy is because Buffy's fighting to save the world. Like, at the end of the day, she has people in the world that she wants to go and see tomorrow. And I always believe Buffy, and I always understand that there are things at stake for her. Because it's about her very human life. And that's why we love superheroes. They are people who happen to have friggin' superpowers. Like, that's the whole point. And I didn't ever feel like any one of these characters was a real, drawn-out, actual person. They are just characters. And that's a problem. You have to establish that they care about things, and that we should care about what they care about. And what do any of these people care about? I mean, Cyborg, he's just like, what the fuck is going on with me? And I can relate to that, sort of. But everybody else, I don't know why they want to live on planet Earth. I really don't. So it's a real problem. And then, like, who else is here? That's the thing. And you know, when they first showed the promo pictures of Aquaman, it said Unite the Seven. And at the end of the movie, I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was Green Lantern supposed to be here? Was the Martian Manhunter supposed to be here? Like, what the actual fuck is going on with this movie? Like, what seven are we uniting? It's not the 7 Seas, because that's a misnomer in the first place. So, oh, it's so dumb. Like, anyway. So, a real problem with introducing Wonder Woman into the DC mythos at all, like, really comes down to the world that they're creating. Like, when we get the flashback scene of Steppenwolf and his first invasion, and how the Green Lantern and the Old Gods and the Atlanteans and men and the Amazons all came together and they fought. Oh my god, that's a movie I would like to see. That's a movie I would like to see. And the movie that really we need to, like, see, I would much rather watch Steppenwolf's invasion minus any of these other assholes from the Justice League. That would be awesome to see the first invasion. Mostly because of Wonder Woman's lore. I don't understand how Zeus and, oh, what's her name? Diana? Is that her name? Artemis. Like, how Zeus and Artemis, how exactly do those things work in the same world as Batman and Superman and Cyborg and the Flash and Steppenwolf and all that? I don't understand how that's supposed to make sense, and the movie, neither Wonder Woman nor this movie, do anything to explain what the fuck the Greek gods are doing on planet Earth in the first place. It's such a problem. And that's my biggest problem with the whole of Wonder Woman's mythos, whether it be in the movies or in the comic books. Like, how does that all work and stay grounded? Really? And especially in this movie, it's like, oh, the gods came together. It's like, where did they come from? And so, like, I want to see that movie. I want to see the invasion movie, like the first invasion movie, but we're not gonna. It just doesn't make a shit ton of sense to me. And another problem with Wonder Woman is we saw in her movie that, 80 years ago, she was going around shooting lightning out of her hands. Where did that go? Justice League? Like, there's a lot of this, boom, concussive blast. But the thing is, they need Superman to come and defeat Steppenwolf when we literally just in, what was it, June? Saw Wonder Woman banish a god from planet Earth with lightning coming out of her frickin' hands. Where did her lightning power go? Did they forget? Like, what the actual? And the thing is, when I went to work Friday, I was telling everybody, it wasn't terrible. It was better than I expected it to be. But it wasn't, like, great. And I was kind of, like, still kind of riding the high. And then I started listening to more reviews, and pretty much the general consensus was, it's fine. It's fine. It's a step in the right direction. And by the time I woke up Saturday morning, I was like, people are giving this movie a great big pass just because it's better than what's come before as far as Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad. But being better than a bad thing is not being good in your own right. And I feel like that's where most people are just giving this movie a hard pass. And I don't feel like any of it is truly earned. And like, when did Superman become this jolly, quippy dude? Like, there's this moment where he goes off with the Flash, or I'm sorry, Barry, the fast guy, and he, like, comes back to where that lady, who's like, hands up, don't shoot, and Aquaman are fighting Steppenwolf, and he's like, oh, is this guy still bothering you? No, like, when did you become funny? When did you decide it was, like, cool to tell jokes and stuff? Because I don't know you. And then at the end, when they pull the mother boxes apart, and Superman's like, ha ha ha, oh, kill me. What the fuck? It's so tonally out of nowhere. It's like you just came back from the dead. You were all crazy. Wham bam poof, you love Lois and you're fine. And then all of a sudden you're like jokey McLewis CK, which is probably not a great reference to be making right about now, but what the fuck ever. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. I don't get it. It was just the logic. Oh man. It's like, the more I think about it, the angrier I am that they sold us this thing. And I was super excited about it too. I was like, I don't care. It looks terrible. I'm gonna go. I hope it's great. And the more I think about it, the more it's like, who is this for? Oh, hold on. For this part of the review, I need to put on this red shawl for absolutely no reason that makes any sense to me. Because there's this scene where Wonder Woman, I'm sorry, that lady goes to talk to Bruce after he's been all beat up and whatnot, and they're having this discussion about, you know, what happened in my movie, and she has this red shawl that we never see again, that was never established before, and like the next time we see her, she's not going to be wearing it. And this whole conversation, like, I love Joss, like, oh, Joss Whedon, oh, you've got your flaws, but you know, I'm here for Buffy, I'm here for you. But it was like, this was a scene, and it felt like it was written for Mal and Inara from Firefly / Serenity. It totally did. It, like, this entire scene and the dialogue, it felt like something that he had written for Firefly. A moment between Inara and Mal. And the fact that she had this shawl on it really just underscored. I'm like, what is this? It was so dumb. It was just out of nowhere. I don't know, man. This movie, I really wanted to like it, and I came out of it like, it was better than I thought. But again, the more I think about it, the more, like, where are the stakes? Why should I care? Who are these people? What is your life like? A day in the life of any one of these motherfuckers would have really helped this movie go along. And and there's one moment, you know, Steppenwolf is like in the place and he says, for mother, and then they pan out and you barely hear him say once in the movie, for Darkseid. It's like, really? Why even mention Darkseid at all if there's no actual actual reference to Darkseid other than this throwaway line where we don't actually even see the characters saying it. It's so weird. It's so weird. And then, you know, the plot is basically, look, two plots thrown together because you've got the Man of Steel plot of terraforming the world to become like this alien homeland so that it can be invaded by alien invaders. That was Man of Steel. And then you've got, oh, let's use the Kryptonian ship to bring somebody like a Kryptonian back from the dead in super fun ways. And that was the BVS thing. And it's like, that well is only so deep, and I don't understand why we need any of that at all. And then the whole thing with Flash being the one to, like, electrocute, wake up the mother box as soon as it hits the water. That whole scene is just like, really? And the fact of the matter is, I'm over here like, why is everybody standing around looking like this is the most important thing in the world that Flash has to electrocute this thing at one certain moment, when again, we know that Wonder Woman can shoot frickin' lightning out of her frickin' hands. I'm sorry, not Wonder Woman, because she's not Wonder Woman. She's hands up, don't shoot lady. What the heck? The logic. I don't know, Planet Earth. It had some really fun moments, but at the end of the day, I'm like, was this necessary at all? Could you really not have done a better job? Like, the origin of Cyborg. I feel like Cyborg was supposed to be much more important to this movie. I feel like there was supposed to be like him battling this like programming and him battling this alien force within him, and all of that would have been so much more interesting than most of what we saw in this movie. I did really like that moment where Diana is talking to Victor and he's like, well, what do you want with me? And she's like, well, if I wanted to kill you, I could have done it when you were watching me down by the bay. I was like, oh shit, she's Wonder Woman. I'm like, what? But she's not Wonder Woman. She's this lady. I don't understand. But like, there were moments of like, bam, that really hit. When Diana like throws Bruce back when he mentions Steve Trevor. And then it's like, why are you even bringing up Steve Trevor? Come on, man. Again, like, most of Wonder Woman's stuff was like, in my movie, like, we get it, we saw your movie, like, most people saw your movie, it was good, it was better than this, but, I don't know, it just, there's something not clean in the Justice League buttermilk, and, like, that's the punchline of this movie, like, it doesn't really work. I mean, serviceable, enjoyable at points, but for the most part, you're just sitting here like, why did we spend a whole 5 minutes on Themyscira playing, like, monkey in the middle with the mother box? Although I really did like the way that the Amazons kind of let Diana know what was going on with, like, the magic arrow. And that was really cool. I was like, oh, you're so smart, Hippolyta. And I like that Hippolyta knew that Diana would be smart enough to, oh yeah, we're being invaded by aliens. And then it seems like once you get all the mother boxes together to form, like, you know, chaos, it seemed like it would not take so long. But everybody was straight chilling for pretty much a whole day. And another thing that really just, when you see all of the characters like lined up next to each other in broad daylight, they look goofy. You know, say what you will about Zack Snyder's like darker tone, like visually, like making everything super dark. I feel like if you keep them in the dark, there's a certain sense of realism. But when you suddenly put them in their brightly colored costumes in broad daylight, they just look super fucking goofy standing next to each other. It's a whole thing. And then at the end of the movie, you know, when, you know, the mother boxes are separated and all of the weird vine tentacle stuff is kind of dying away and it produces flowers, these little, like, Ukrainian kids are sitting there playing with the flowers. No! They are from, like, some other planet. God knows what kind of toxic shit is in them. Maybe that little girl's gonna turn into poison ivy because she was playing with the frickin' alien flowers. Probably. Like, don't go touching alien life. Hello. That's the whole point of the movie. Don't let alien life creep into your, like, planet Earth. Oh, Planet Earth. It's a mess. It's a great big mess. And at the same time, it was like joyful. And I just don't understand. I still don't understand why Amy Adams got billing above Gal Gadot. She was barely in the movie. And that whole line about her being thirsty. But you know, my audience ate it up. The audience I was with, oh, by the way, opening night, 7:30. The theater wasn't even half full, which was like part of the problem with the movie-going experience, apart from the house lights. Like, when I went to see Batman v Superman, the place was packed. I guess they learned their lesson, didn't they? But anyway, that's what I thought of Justice League. I'm sure I have some more thoughts, but it's just so disappointing, you guys. Like, I don't want to spend time with any one of these characters, let alone just throwing them all in a room together and forcing me to spend a bunch of time with them. It's problematic. But anyway, Planet Earth, let me know what you thought of Justice League in the comment section down below. I'm Preston L. Young. Hope you're having a great 2017 so far, everybody. We've got Angel Season 11, issue number 11 coming out today, so stay tuned for a review for that. If not today, then probably tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States and everywhere. Have yourself a great day today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
My BFF. Joe?
730.